Thank you all for joining us for the Research Impact Challenge information session. Joining us today is Christina Miskey, Scholarly Communication Librarian for Research Infrastructure, UNLV Libraries. Christina will talk to us about the Research Impact Challenge and opportunity to increase the impact and reach of your scholarly research. I'll hand it over to Christina to get us started.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
We can see it.
Perfect. Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for that introduction. And my name is Christina Miskey. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I actually just recently went under a title change. So my new title is the Research Impact Librarian. So it's a brand new title. So So today I'm going to introduce you to an event that the UNLV Libraries holds each fall semester called the Research Impact Challenge. I've broken down this event into 4 main topics that I'm briefly going to cover today before, and I'll answer your questions throughout. So we're going to talk a little bit about the publication process and what comes after your project gets written. We're going to talk about research impact, what that is and why it matters, and the impact challenge itself, when and how it works. And then finally, we'll put it all together and tell you how and why you should participate. So real quick, I like to do a little bit of interaction in my workshops. So if you could go use the QR code on the screen or go to slido.com and type in the event code 8094171. Then that will help me to get a couple questions and find out who's here today. So the first question I have for you is, what is your major? And this is all going to be anonymous, so your name won't appear on the questions or in the recording. So I'm just curious about what your major is and who's here today. Biology, computer science, awesome. Public policy. Oh, fantastic. I love seeing a wide variety of majors in the workshops. It's really cool to see a lot of different perspectives in these workshops. So I'm going to go to my next question. Are you planning to publish your thesis or dissertation once it's complete? So I have a few options here. You can say yes, definitely, no, definitely not. You're not sure yet. Or you can say possibly if you're leaning towards publishing, but you're still not 100% sure. A lot of yeses. That's awesome. So great. So this is definitely going to be a challenge and an event that you might want to consider participating. And I'm going to move on to the content of the workshop, but don't close your window because I do have a question at the end for you as well. So now let's dive into the topics for today. First, I'm going to talk about what happens during and after something gets published. So this is going to be a very quick overview of the publishing process. So first, when you're going through the publication process, you usually write, edit, and submit your thesis or dissertation or an article to a journal or a publisher, depending on where you're publishing. Once you submit it, then it goes under review by the editor of the journal or an editorial team to accept or reject it for publication. After that happens, if it goes through a peer review process, then it goes through one of 3 different methods. So peer review is when peers in your field review the article that you've submitted and offer feedback. And there's 3 types of peer review. There's open peer review, where the reviewer and the author know who each other are. There's blind peer review, where the author doesn't know who the reviewer is, but the reviewer knows who the author is. And then there's double-blind peer review, where neither the author nor the reviewer know who each other are. Once it goes through that peer review process, you'll get a copy of your submission back with reviewer comments. And from that point, you do editing based on those comments. and then you send it back to the editor of the journal or the editorial team for final copy editing and typesetting for publication. So this is when they take your edited version and they make it all pretty for the website, and they add heading and page numbers and all of those things. And then finally, we get to step 6, which is what we're going to be covering a lot of today: publication and sharing of your research. So once your article is published, there's generally a few things that happen. First, the publication will start advertising online using things like social media, email listservs, and professional organizations. And you, as the author, and any co-authors can also share the new publication on things such as your personal website or your own social media and any professional networking sites that you have accounts on. You can also share a version of your publication in an institutional or a disciplinary repository. And over time, others will read your publication and they might even share it themselves. And as other researchers begin to publish, they can cite and use your publication in their own research. And you can use metrics or measurements of impact to track who is talking about your research and how far it reaches around the world. So let's talk about what happens after your work starts getting attention. So we're going to cover the 3 questions here on the screen. And since we're talking about impact, I want to share a quick definition of what exactly impact means in research. So impact is the effect that research has in the field, in academia, and beyond that. Measuring impact helps us to understand how far our research goes, who's interested in it, and a lot more. Impact, however, isn't just about measurements and statistics. It's important to understand and be able to provide context and overall to tell the story of why your research matters, who should care about it, what group it might impact the most, and how it changes your field or a specific community that you're targeting. So what research impact looks like for early career researchers like yourselves. And you should care about your impact because if you're pursuing a career in academia, you can measure research impact long-term over the course of your career. It can help you get funding for future research projects because you have to talk about the impact and importance of your research relevant to the funding you're asking for. And other careers outside of academia might place importance on the significant or impact of your research as you apply for jobs. Showing impact is important because it can ultimately help you to fill out job applications, fill out and write cover letters and talk about your work in interviews, fill out funding applications and hopefully get those approved, and overall increase your professional reputation in your field. So I've already gone over a ton of things, and this is a short workshop, so we're moving pretty quickly. So I have a few little examples of what it looks like to demonstrate impact in the real world. So this first example that I'm going to show is from Dr. Iona Popescu. She's a professor of decision sciences at INSEAD, which is a private organization. And this is an impact narrative as she writes for her expert portfolio. So you should be able to see the pop-up. Can you confirm that you can see that for me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this is what a professional private business impact narrative might look like. So you can see her picture, her name, and her title. It has a brief overview of what her impact is. It's saying that she's one of the most influential and innovative scholars in the field of revenue management. It gives a specific paper and then it won an award. It's talking about how many times she's been cited in her field. And then it goes on to talk about research funding, talks about all kinds of different things, her ongoing impact in her research and how it's affecting her field. And don't worry, this is a really long article and a lot of different things. So don't worry. I'm going to share my slides after this, so you'll get access to all of this information.
Christina, sorry. I think Cecilia wanted to ask a question. Cecilia, am I right?
No, oh, sorry. No, I just say okay when she was explaining something. But
okay.
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Sorry about that, Christina.
No worries. Okay. Okay. So the next one I'm going to show you is an example from here at UNLV. This is Professor Carrie Tyler, who's in the Department of Geosciences. And this is an example of a news story talking about her research and how it impacts the marine fossil record and how significant it is. So this is talking about linking to her article, and it's talking about specifically how the context of where her research falls in the larger her larger field. It has a great little picture here, but it's also talking about how, like, the context of why fossils are important. And then it goes to her findings and talks about exactly what they did and why that matters to her field and the larger public. And then finding my last little example, I'm not actually going to play because it's a video and I don't want to mess with the technicalness of sharing that. And there's always technical issues, but it's a short little video. It's about 3 minutes. And the link here on the slide, which I'll share, includes a link to the video and the transcript. And this is a teacher in Queensland University, Australia, who's talking to a colleague about how she built a professional portfolio to win an award for her career and demonstrate how her career was impactful. So those are just a few little examples, so you can see that really demonstrating your impact, you can do it in private industry, in academia, and beyond that. So next, I'm going to talk about the Research Impact Challenge event and how you can participate. So a Research Impact Challenge is an event often organized by institutions or experts to help challenge researchers. During these challenge events, participants complete daily tasks for a given period of time to learn more about citation metrics, altmetrics, and other tools that help you measure impact. Challenges like this also help participants to understand a wide variety of methods that they can use to demonstrate and increase the impact and reach of your scholarly research. UNLV's challenge, which is hosted by the University Libraries, is 5 days long and take place this fall between September 25th and 29th. Any faculty and graduate professional students can and are encouraged to participate in this challenge. So UNLV's Impact Challenge, as I said, consists of 5 daily challenges that are each focused on a specific theme to help researchers like you and authors learn about new ways to demonstrate the impact of their research at whatever career stage you might be in. Each day has a main challenge that participants can complete and will also feature an optional bonus challenge to further your understanding of that day's theme. Finally, there will also be an opportunity to get more hands-on experience each day with workshops. There's going to be a pop-up table in Lead Library and ways to interact with UNLV Libraries expert librarians and our staff. So when you participate in the challenge, you can enter to win a great prize package that has lots of really cool things in it. It'll have some swag from the libraries and from a couple of our participating event sponsors. Your work, the winner would be shared on the front page of UNLV's institutional repository and advertised there. Your work would also get featured on the UNLV Library's social media pages and advertised as there. And we're going to have a UNLV Today story featuring the winner. which is all different ways that we can help you boost your impact after you complete the challenge. So for the 5 daily challenges, they tend to change each year. So there's always something new to experience. And here on the screen are this year's challenges. So the first day, the theme is Make Your Work Open, and it explores open access publishing. The second day is Create or Update Your ORCID ID, where you learn about author IDs and why they're important. The third day is about tracking citations with Google Scholar. And not only are you going to learn how to track citations, but you're also going to learn about the good and the bad of metrics and what they all mean. The fourth day is going to explore alternative metrics and a new tool that we have at the UNLV libraries. And finally, on the fifth day, you're going to put all of those things together, and we're going to help you create a narrative story of the impact of your work. So the challenge always takes place in the fall, and this year it will take place starting Monday, September 25th, and ending at 5 p.m. Friday, September 29th. If you want to be entered into the drawing to win the prize package, you'll need to register your participation before Friday at 5 p.m. Otherwise, you can go back and do any of the challenges at any point during the academic year. The information stays available all year round, so don't worry if you can't participate during that exact week, you can still get access to the information. So let's talk about how to actually participate in the challenge. So we have a website for the challenge, which looks like this, and I'll put a copy of that link into the chat here for you. So this is the challenge homepage, and it has a lot more information about the challenge itself. And down here under daily challenges, when you come back during the week of the challenge, you'll see buttons here that will take you to the challenge pages so you can participate in the challenges themselves. Okay, so I ran through all of that stuff super quick, but now I have one last question for you. So I'm curious to know, what's one thing that you'll take away from this session? Courage, that's awesome.
Impact.
New pact?
Impact.
Oh, impact. Yes, great. That's awesome. I see a few people are typing, so I'll wait. Ooh, lots of things popped up. Publishing, learning impact benefits. That's awesome. I love seeing this because then it helps me see what people are taking away from the workshops. It's really, really helpful for me. And it's also great to see what people are learning. So there's one more person typing, so I'll wait just a second before I move on. Awesome. That's so great. So this was a quick workshop, so that's a very quick overview. This is my contact information, so you can contact me via email. There's my phone number on the screen, even though most of us don't actually use phone calls anymore, which is totally fine. And then if you want to use the QR code on the screen, you can scan that and make an appointment with me to have a one-on-one consultation to talk about the impact challenge, any of the things I glossed over today, or about your own research impact. And then I have some links on the screen too that'll also help you access different things. And with that, I'm done. So let's open it up for questions.
Thank you so much, Christina. Now the floor is open for questions. You can unmute yourself and ask your question if you like, or you can type them in the chat.
Okay. Here's a question. He was talking about impact and that benefits all what happens. And for example, at UNLV, you have your research published in the main page of the I think is at the digital library, right? Digital library. So anyway, my question is, how do you search somebody's name and the impact they have? For example, I have a professor, he's an archaeologist. I want to find how many citations. Do you just Google the name and it pop it up? How does it pop it up? That's my question.
Oops, I'm muted. That is a complicated question. So there's lots of different ways that you can look up impact and citations of people depending on where they published and what type of thing that they published. So if you want to talk about that a little bit more, send me an email or make an appointment with me and we can chat about that a little bit more in detail.
Thank you.
And okay, you just answered that question. Karen said, I see a lot of posts on LinkedIn from different departments at UNLV highlighting individuals' work. Are these posted through a centralized source or by individual departments?
Oh, that's a great question, Karen. So it's going to vary a little bit from unit to unit. For example, here in the libraries, we can submit accomplishments through the general UNLV accomplishment portal, and our marketing department picks up those accomplishments when we submit them and then advertises them on LinkedIn for us. So I know a lot of colleges do that. I think the College of Education has a method to do that and things like that. So you'll want to find out how that works in your specific department, and then you can follow that department's procedure.
And then one last question is, what stage of research should we be in to participate in the research challenge?
So I'm going to say any stage. So even if you've never published anything, you can still participate in the challenge and learn about things that will help you once you publish something. So the great thing about the challenge is it's self-paced and no one is going to know how much you did or how, whether you did a bonus challenge or whether you end up with any citations if you create a Google Scholar profile or any of that stuff. It's entirely on your own schedule and your own calendar. So I encourage you to participate. The reason why we have a prize drawing is just to incentivize people to participate in the challenge, but really it's there to help you and your research.
All right, thank you, everyone. I think that is it with the questions. Thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise with us today, Christina, and thank you to our participants for joining us to expand their knowledge. We'll be posting this workshop on the Graduate College YouTube channel later for your reference. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Have a great day.
Bye.